Hello, my name is Andy and I am the Village Idiot. I'm armed with a car and a GoPro and an unhealthy amount of time on my hands. I'm using that time to attempt to visit every civil parish in England. You're watching the Harrogate series. Harrogate is a large borough, one of the 11 districts of North Yorkshire. It's got 139 civil parishes. Which one are we in this episode? Welcome back to Harrogate, everybody, for the last in this run of 12 which I've done in late December. Now, this is the smallest of the lot. Trust me, this place is a real blink and you'll miss it kind of affair. I promise you, this walk will probably be one of the shortest I've ever done. The trouble is with this one as well, it was very difficult to find somewhere to park because most of this is on a sort of main road-ish. If I turn the camera around here, you'll see what I mean. There's no laybys along this road or on the other one, which I did eventually park on. I found a space. It's not the best in the world, but hopefully it's good enough just for a few minutes, because a few minutes is all this will take me. Welcome to the parish of Walkingham Hill with Occaney. Here's my disclaimer for people who may be watching me for the first time. I say things as I would in my native accent and dialect. As a result, I may not pronounce things in the same way as the locals do. Remember, I'm a visitor. It's impossible to know everything. Leave me a comment, spin me a like, and bash that subscribe button. Let's get to today's parish video. Walkingham Hill with Occaney, Walca's Homestead. The last of this mid-December run of 12 in Harrogate to the north of Knaresborough is the smallest, and when I say this one's small, I mean minuscule. It took me less than 10 minutes to walk this route because Walkingham Hill with Occaney is one of those places you wouldn't even know was there if you were just passing through. The parish consists of two settlements. No, you heard that right, but both are mere dots on the landscape, and neither have any extensively documented history. The larger of the two is Occaney, a group of less than 10 houses which can be found in a line along the main road between Knaresborough and Staveley. Running through the place is a fast-flowing stream called Occaney Beck, which eventually becomes the River Tutt. The other settlement is Walkingham, but it's only a farm these days. Walkingham was a medieval village known to have had a massive 12th century mansion, Walkingham Hall. The vague outline of its former buildings can still be traced thanks to cropmarks in the fields between the farm and the village of Farnham, close to an ancient packhorse road. The farm is important locally. It's where Copgrove Hall Stud is located, and that will be of interest to you if you're equine inclined. It's a short one, but even so, let's walk and talk. Welcome to one of the smallest places in the country. This is Occaney, a row of houses that line the road between Knaresborough and the large village of Staveley near Copgrove. There are fewer than 10 houses in this tiny hamlet, and most of them are in this one little cluster. There are at least two exceptions to that rule, which we'll get to in a moment. I imagine some of these will have been farm buildings at one point, but there's no documented history of the place anywhere, so I really don't know. Name-wise, Occaney has no known definition. After the houses, the road bends to the right towards Staveley and there's a junction with a side road. This will take us towards a bridge. Seen here is Occaney Beck. It's a fast-flowing stream which eventually becomes the River Tutt in Staveley and then empties into the River Ure. It starts in the shallow hills just east of Brereton, and in its early stages it's called Beck until it joins with Beck in Farnham. The bridge over it isn't all that great. It appears someone has taken this corner a bit too fast recently, given all the barriers. Standing over the beck is the hamlet's biggest house, Occaney Beck Cottage. I'd imagine it's also the oldest in Occaney, despite the fact it's clearly had extensions. Yards away is a second junction with this track which runs up a hill towards a farm. There's only one more property up here as far as I could tell, a single house on the left. Otherwise it's all farmland and farm buildings, although what civilization there is up here is somewhat obscured by tall hedgerows. Now, I'm no expert, but are these little huts for pigs? Let me know. Somewhere up this lane you enter Walkingham, a deserted medieval village, but nobody knows exactly where it stood. It was located somewhere close to the ancient packhorse road which runs from Farnham's village green to Burton Leonard. It's known it had a 12th century mansion, Walkingham Hall, which had stables, offices, gardens and fish ponds. Today, faint crop marks in the fields show the location of its former buildings. Walkingham Hill Farm is now the only thing that remains that bears the name of the lost village. Now, if you carry on to the top of the hill, you'll be met with a gate which you can't get through, because that is an entrance to Copgrove Hall Stud, which you remember we began the Copgrove episode outside. We're at the other entrance, which is sort of through there and that way. It actually falls within Walkingham Hill with Occaney, even though the entrance is in Copgrove. The main entrance is in Copgrove. So what's it all about then, and why is it so important? Well, today's special section will tell you all about it. Copgrove Hall Stud at Walkingham Hill Farm is widely recognised as one of the finest stud farms in England. It was originally founded by racehorse owner Major Lionel Holliday, who bred Vaguely Noble and Heatherset. At that time, the stud was much closer to Copgrove Hall. It was only when Guy Reed moved into the hall that Walkingham Hill Farm became its new location. A mile-long drive from the village, it was originally a dairy farm. Note the G and the R in the stud's logo. They're cleverly highlighted because they're Guy Reed's initials. He would transform this rundown old farm into a top-class racing school and premier nursery for raising young stock. He added hedges and rolling paddocks, which are so important in the muscular skeletal development of young horses. The Wilderstein family were one of the first great breeders to take advantage of the stud's facilities. Weanlings would arrive from America, France, Ireland and the UK on an annual basis. Notable horses to be bred here include La Cucaracha, winner of the Group 1 Nunthorpe, and Group 2 winners La Pomme d'Amour and Tiddlywinks, as well as Flossie and Pablo. And that'll dink-dank do for that one. Next week in Harrogate, I promise you I'll have a much bigger village, but wasn't this one fascinating in its own right? It's a tiny dot on the map, but still had enough for a great little episode, and not a lot of people even know it exists. That's the beauty of this channel. See you next week. Thanks for watching this video, folks. Don't forget to like this episode if you haven't already. It really makes a difference with YouTube. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and give us a share too if you've got friends who'd like it. You can find all the links to my social media accounts below, as well as my Buy Me a Coffee page where you can donate to the channel. Also, if you've enjoyed this episode, have a look at some more videos in this series. Until next time, I've been Andy, also known as the Village Idiot, and I'm out.